Well, tonight the joint city of Ketchikan, city of Saxman, and Ketchikan Gateway Borough declared a disaster emergency. This was somewhat led by the Ketchikan Emergency Operations Center and the fire marshal Abner Hoage. They recommended this to the city and borough, and therefore then they made this proclamation. I interview Abner here, and you'll see that as that follows this. One thing that is unclear to me and some others is how the Emergency Planning Committee, which is a city entity, was formed, how people get on that, and what kind of authority they have. This declaration of an emergency doesn't really change the political power structure, but it does make one question: how does one, being the Emergency Operating Committee or local area emergency planning committee, how do those people get appointed? Who's on there? And then what kind of power do they have in an emergency? So those I don't answer in this question, but I sure hope to find out about that. I think everyone's best intentions are being taken, people are acting out of their best intentions, but there are some definitely questions to be asked about how this particular emergency, I don't think, was envisioned. A lot the emergency planning, or according to Abner, this was mostly designed for natural disasters. So we're seeing something play out that's not necessarily in that category. So watch my interview, and thanks for tuning in. It's Ketchikan, Larry Jackson, Ketchikan, Alaska News. Just explain if you don't mind, the EOC's levels of activation.
Right.
We went from
warm. Level 1 activation is what we call a warm activation, and that is just where we have pre-notice, if you will, of a possible event occurring.
Okay.
More often than not, that happens in a weather event, right? You know that you got a big winter storm coming, or a hurricane down south, and so you can stand up your EOC and you can monitor that and start to take preparatory actions. In this case, with COVID-19, it's kind of a slow-ish moving event, at least initially, because it wasn't here, right? So we had pre-warning. We were able to watch what was happening and make decisions. So we were at that warm monitoring level. And then today what we've done is gone to a level 2 activation, which just means that we now begin staffing more positions in our incident command system so that we can
and then, so how does that
better in order to respond to the things that are occurring.
Okay, so then how does that relate to what we just did? Was we declared the state, or the city and borough declared a
joint
disaster
declaration
emergency?
of local disaster emergency.
And how does that affect the EOC?
Yeah, so the local declaration of emergency does a couple things. One, it gives the public an official notice that, hey, there's something big going on here, right?
Okay.
And we want you to be aware of it.
Okay.
And it gives us the ability as an EOC, it formally activates our plans, like our emergency operations plan, our communications plan, our evacuation plan. It allows us to utilize those tools. Typically, we don't like to utilize those without having a declaration of emergency unless we have to.
Does it do anything, do you understand if it does any effect to the politics or control or civil?
So in the emergency management world, and when we start to talk about dollars, it potentially enables the ability for us to request assistance formally from the state. So the city, if the city has an incident in emergency management, if a city has an incident, they try to deal with that with their resources. When it exceeds their resources, they would contact their local borough and say, hey, we need help.
But it doesn't do anything politically in the sense of consolidating. Now we have a political power system that has a borough assembly, a borough mayor.
It doesn't eliminate that.
All those structures still stay in place.
But under our emergency operations plan, it lets us have a joint unified command where we're operating sort of as one. We each still have our independent responsibilities, but we're able to respond to the incident
But it doesn't change the
Yeah,
political power structure.
It doesn't change the political power structure.
Okay, that
And
clarifies
then
a lot.
the other big thing that it potentially helps with, if federal dollars later are available to reimburse for the efforts that we take, then it allows us to potentially tap into those dollars.
Sure.
Both for the disaster itself, as well as in this case the potential economic impact with our cruise ship season.
Yeah, right.
And tourist season.
Okay, that clarifies a lot. Thanks, Abner.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for watching Ketchikan, Alaska News. This is a little hobby effort of mine to try and bring one daily story to people here in Ketchikan or past members of the community, people who love and like Ketchikan. I try to do just political stories or stories of interest, sports and so forth. If you have any ideas or suggestions, you can email me at ketchikanalaskannews@gmail.com. You can also contribute. It takes a little bit of money running around doing this kind of thing. So there's a donate button on the opening page of the YouTube channel. It helps if you subscribe, like, comment, share all these videos that are free to do that. So please do that. Any other comments or suggestions, just give me an email or give me a call. Thanks again for watching Ketchikan, Alaska News. Don't you love that snow?